As like my girlfriend called the cops on me to get all her stuff out. Insane. Like what the fuck? I can't believe what's happening right now. Girls are the fake. You guys wouldn't even believe it.
Alright, so today we're gonna be talking about Jack Doherty and the situation that he's in right now, which is that his girlfriend McKinley has just left him. She broke up, and it happened in a pretty bad way because she ended up calling the cops on him. And so yeah, it's a pretty insane situation, as you just saw in the clip in the beginning. And in case you don't know, Jack Doherty is an IRL streamer, in real life streamer. And that was basically his whole business model, And the thing is that he's been facing a lot of problems recently because his career has been tanking. And so because of that, he's been making less and less money, and he's been having a lot of problems. And if that wasn't bad enough, now this has happened. So the background context for all of this is that McKinley, his girlfriend, or should I say ex-girlfriend now, said that Jack Doherty threatened her. And so that's the reason why she's breaking up, and she's getting all her stuff and she's leaving. And that's why the police was involved, because it must be a pretty serious situation for the cops to be called, right? So that's the reason why. So in order to, make sure that she's safe and she doesn't have any problems getting her stuff, that's why the police officers were there to, escort her basically. And so far, Jack Doherty has said that he did not threaten her. So basically, it's a he said, she said situation, because we haven't seen the actual, evidence or footage of what happened behind the scenes. We're basically just going off of what we know, based off of what people are saying, what Jack Doherty is saying and what McKinley is saying. So, it just depends on who you believe, I suppose. Now, without further ado, here's the full clip. And by the way, the source for this clip is the channel Mist.
Who is this though? I need to know.
What's up, man? How are you?
Yes, you usually wouldn't answer me. You called the cops before you talked to your boyfriend? Are you kidding me? Like, how the doing that?
You still have to start the shit outside.
That's it, bro. That's all I did. I didn't even care.
That I don't know.
Yeah, but I did. I just wanted to talk to you. That's it.
Then just talk to
So you wouldn't answer me, bro. Are you kidding me? Like, what?
Sorry.
You called the cops.
McKinley, slow down so I can be with you.
You gotta get out of my house. I didn't say you can come in.
She's letting us in.
She doesn't own this house. I didn't say you can come in my house.
Her address is
I don't
on
care.
here. She's a resident here.
I don't care. You guys aren't allowed in my house.
We're not here to have a hard
You guys
time.
aren't allowed in my house. I'm sorry.
She lives here.
Who gave you?
She did.
She doesn't own this house. Just because she lives doesn't mean she gave you permission to.
Stop acting like this.
Bro, you called the cops on me in my own house after I've done everything for you.
Because you threatened me back.
I didn't threaten you, bro. Bro, how did I threaten you?
Do me a favor. Can you stay over there?
You're in my house. You're unreal, bro. You're in my house. Tell me what to do.
This is her house.
She doesn't
She's
pay
allowing
for it.
us
I'm
in.
sorry.
Doesn't matter.
It's not your house.
Doesn't matter.
It's just crazy. McKinley, what the are you doing?
I'm getting all my shit, Jack.
Dude, who is this bitch? You get the out of my house, bitch.
No,
Yeah,
Jack.
stay the out of my house. Get out.
Stop.
Stay, tell her to get the out of the house.
No, it's my
Nah,
Alright, so we can see in the clip that, McKinley and Jack and the police officer are all going inside the house. And, they enter, and to the left, there's the stairs. And so, as they're going up the stairs, Jack, tells the police officer that, hey, I don't want you coming here. You're not allowed to do this and all that. And the police officer is like, look, she's a resident here and she's allowed me to come in. So of course, Jack is really not happy about the fact that there's police officers in his home, and he's trying to get them to not come in. But yeah, that's obviously something that didn't work. And then we can see how then they go into the room, and then McKinley starts getting her stuff, and there's also a friend of McKinley's here who's here with her to help her out. And this entire time Jack is just really, really not happy with the situation. And he's talking to McKinley like, hey, this is a pretty crazy thing that you're doing. He's obviously really hoping that maybe he can just say something at this point that would get McKinley to change her mind last minute. Maybe she has a change of heart or something and she decides not to go ahead. But yeah, despite all his efforts, that does not work, and Jack is not able to convince McKinley to stay back and to not break up with him and to not leave. And then she ends up leaving. So yeah, it's a pretty crazy situation. I mean, I've made videos on Jack Doherty before, but yeah, that was back when his situation hadn't spiraled into this mess essentially. So yeah, it's pretty insane just watching all of this happen. Now real quick, I'd like to pause the video and say that I'm giving out shout outs to people who subscribe, hit the bell, and comment I subscribed. If you do that, in the next video I'll give you a shout out. Anyway, back to the video. Now one thing about all this is that this is Jack's personal life, and it's being shared with the internet like this. And these kinds of really, you could say, low moments in a person's personal life, I don't really think that you should be sharing that kind of stuff online, right? I mean, at least most people wouldn't want to do that, but apparently for Jack this is just content, which is one of those things where you're like, okay, where's the line between your life and content? Because if you are one of these IRL streamers and your content literally is your life, then where do you draw that line, right? Because at that point everything about your life becomes content. So what, at that point, is there basically no personal life anymore, right? Because you're just gonna share everything that happens with the internet with the hopes that this helps you out by being the kind of content that gets engagement and views and whatnot. So that is one of those things about this that really does kind of bother me about all of this. And another thing is that after all of this, Jack was saying that he was really, really mad about this whole situation because he feels like McKinley used him for the money. In case you don't know, Jack has a lot of money, he's pretty rich, or at least he was until he started having all those problems and his career started to go in this downward spiral. But basically he was making this argument that when he was doing well, he was spending all this money on her and he was giving her this really nice lifestyle and she was really benefiting from all that, and she was with him back then. But then once he started having problems and his career started to tank essentially, at that point now because of that she's ended up deciding to leave him. Basically that's his whole narrative, that this isn't because of any threats or something, this is because he's just not doing well anymore, and she's not loyal, and she's just like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna leave this guy, he's not doing well anymore. And then of course as I mentioned earlier, McKinley's side of the story is that Jack threatened her, and that's the reason why all of this happened. And Jack also mentions that they just had in his own words, a quote-unquote a small argument. That's how he put it. But basically, yeah, he said that they had a small argument the day before, and then now here we are with all of this stuff. Now there is something pretty crazy about this whole situation, which is that Jack's business model was heavily reliant on the fact that he was managing all these OF girls, right? So the idea was that he had clout and he had popularity on the internet, and because of that these OF models would then collaborate with him, and so that was his business model. But then as far as I know, they've gone independent now, and even his girlfriend McKinley has now left, And so now if even she's going independent, right, and everybody's just left him, then what exactly is he gonna do now, right? How is he gonna make money? Like all that money that he used to have, which allowed him to have that crazy luxurious lifestyle, that money's gone now. So I really don't understand, like, what's Jack gonna do going forward, right? I mean, even McKinley has left now, so what now? He's not gonna be able to manage any OF girls now. So yeah, I don't know, man. I have no clue what this guy's gonna do going forward. Let's just see what happens, right? Let me know what you think is gonna happen to Jack Doherty down in the comments below, and we can have a discussion down there. And with all that being said, guys, this is Alexi signing out.